Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Run It Back, the show where we try to get things right the second time. We have a very special episode today where we're doing a little bit of collaboration. I was honored enough to be on the podcast that our league member Goku or Go Home does for us every week. And so I decided today that we'd also be running over one of his drafts. As you can see up here, we're going to go 3-0 in this draft. And so obviously, we probably have lots and lots of things to learn. I did a quick review ahead of time, and let me tell you, it is spicy. As we dive into Pack 1, Pick 1, the number one thing I have to say is I'm so disappointed. There's a World Spine Worm right here. 11 mana, 15/15. When it dies, you get 3/5/5s. Card's insane. All kidding aside, card is insane, but it's also 11 mana, not something you're ever playing in Limited. I do think you can realistically look at Deadly Cover-Up and Judith. I think they're both great cards. I personally probably would like Judith a little bit more because I find it more fun as a Spell Slingers type archetype. However, Deadly Cover-Up is likely going to be the more competitive pick. It's almost impossible to not love a Wrath in the format. It's great. There's a couple different Wraths around, and Deadly Cover-Up, I believe, is the best above them. Moving to Pack 1, Pick 2, another huge, great pack. We do have Murder to Stick in Black if you like. Repulsive Mutation, great blue-green card. Private Eye is awesome. Likely not going to go well with the very first pick, but another fantastic card. Makeshift Binding goes particularly well with Wrath the board, and then get the last little creature out, or they drop something after the Wrath, and you Makeshift Binding it then. In theory, Murder can do the same thing, but Makeshift Binding, doing it only for 1 white, also gaining you some life. Great card. Pack 1, Pick 3. Really no black cards of note. This Alley Assailant is okay, not great. And this is really the first pack where I'm just sort of meh on it. I could see a Forensic Researcher here as it helps you sort of ramp into your larger spells. It's also Detective for the blue-white possibility. But it looks like Goku or Go Home ended up going with Dogwalker here. Pack 1, Pick 4. We see They Went This Way or Case of the Trampled Garden, which are also good. Notably, Neighborhood Guardian, phenomenal card and plays particularly well with Dogwalker and Makeshift Binding. But we see Goku or Go Home going with the Buried in the Garden, another very powerful card. Very happy with this one. Allows you really to play all of the different cards that you'd like to play, and really keeps you open moving forward. You do have to be in green-white, but based on the other picks, we already want to be in white, and it really helps splash the Deadly Cover-Up, so that way we're always playing it. Pack 1, Pick 5. I thought this was an interesting one where we could end up we see the Dogwalker and the Makeshift Binding. Meddling Youths is a great curve topper in that sort of deck. However, seeing the Buried in the Garden and having the Deadly Cover-Up, those cards don't really fit in the Meddling Youths deck. You really want to be having the Meddling Youths be the very last card that you're casting and kind of going in for lethal. So, Fuss Bother is a great optional card. If you Buried in the Garden, the next turn you can play 3/1/1s and really sort of stuff up the board. Also, it's great once you already have a Dogwalker on board, you flip it up, you can then cast Fuss in order to make your swinging a little bit harder. Notably, as we're taking a look at Demand Answers and Toxin Analysis, if we cycle all the way back to Pick 1, these are great cards to be playing with Judith. So if we wanted to take this draft down the Judith style, I'm seeing cards here as early as Pick 5, where I'm really excited to be playing those kinds of cards with Judith. Pack 1, Pick 6. We get a great card here in a second Fuss Bother. Obviously, happy to see a Red Herring this late, and even a Commercial District works particularly well with things like Buried in the Garden and our Dogwalker, but a second copy of Fuss Bother is great. You want multiples of these because you can either just go 6 Thopters in the air or 3 Thopters and get the 2/1/1 counters. You just get the consistency of having multiple Fuss Bothers in the deck. Pack 1, Pick 7. Coral Whipcracker's okay. I don't really love this card in this pick, but I don't think you're really playing too much else. We could go down the Harry Dronesmith route, as we now have a bunch of Thopters and just sort of fly in with beats. It also works particularly well with the Fuss part of Fuss. But we are in green with Buried in the Garden. We are in black with the Deadly Cover-Up, so Coral Whipcracker is a perfectly reasonable card. Pack 1, Pick 8. We see an Escape Tunnel here. I do think there could be something to be said about either grabbing the Undercity Sewers or the They Went This Way. I think both of these also do a little bit of fixing for you. This one fixes for the Deadly Cover-Up as well as the Bother side of Fuss Bother, and I think those are great late game. But Escape Tunnel kind of does the same thing. It also ends up fixing you for Buried in the Garden. They Went This Way helps you ramp towards the Bothers, but it requires you to be in green. So you could really go whichever way you want. Looks like Goku or Go Home went with the Escape Tunnel. I think it's fine. Pack 1, pick 9. I'm not thrilled with this pick. I'm not thrilled with this pack. There's not a whole lot here for us. Pack 1, pick 10. Cornered Crook is a fine pickup here. I think I like having this Pick Your Poison. I think this is a great card, and I always want one in one of my sideboards. Shoot, sometimes I want 2 or even 3 in my sideboards. So picking one up here over a card, which I don't think we're realistically going to be playing, is probably for the best. So probably my first pick I would have changed is Pick Your Poison here in Pack 1, pick 10. Pack 1, pick 11. They Went This Way. Great pickup for pick 12. And then, of course, the Pack 2, pick 1. We see 2 very powerful cards, and then even a couple others here in the Repulsive Mutation. Taking a look at either the Coerce to Kill or the Aurelia, the Law Above. Now, if I see things like Deadly Cover-Up, Coerce to Kill may actually work out a little bit better than Aurelia. However, as we can see by the Seasoned Consultant and Dogwalker, the Makeshift Binding, the Fuss Bother, these are things that sort of make Aurelia a little bit better. So I love the Aurelia pick here. It's a great card to pick up. It kind of tells me that we might not be playing Deadly Cover-Up. We might not be playing some of these green cards, but it's a great card, and certainly will win you some games. Moving on to Pack 2, pick 2. This is another one where I think I probably have some troubles. Now, as we can see with the Aurelia, the Law Above, we're likely going to be in some sort of Naya shell, right? Some green, white, and red cards. And so taking another rare with this Case of the Crimson Pulse, I think is great. You could take the Case of the Burning Mask, but I think the double red might be a little bit too much. So I love the Case of the Crimson Pulse. I think that's an awesome card. We also could look at the Greenbelt Radical, but not thrilled with that. It's a little bit later than what I want. However, Goku Go Home takes Murder, and I think that really sort of establishes yourself back into this Deadly Cover-Up area. So Murder's a fine card, as I've stated in some of my past videos. I think it goes a little bit later than pick 2. I don't think it plays particularly well with all the disguises in their ward, but it plays particularly well against like big green creatures or Aurelia, right? These are cards that don't have that disguise, and Murder plays particularly well against them. So I think in this pick, you probably could have taken this Case of the Crimson Pulse, stayed a little bit aggressive, and gone down that route, but Murder's a fine card. I just think I wouldn't have picked it so early. Pack 2, pick 3. All is forgiven and all is forgotten. We are playing Niv Mizzet the Guild Pack. Let's go. Pack 2, pick 4. We do have another Dogwalker here, an Inside Source. These are very powerful cards, but it very much seems like Goku Go Home wants to play the Niv Mizzet. We're in on it. We're going all in, and so we take the Fixer here. Can't go wrong with that. I do love having 2 Public Thoroughfares or Escape Tunnels in decks like this. I don't usually try to go more than that, and I try to end up using my fixing by more so cards that generate the card advantage, like Buried in the Garden and They Went This Way. But you definitely want at least your first 2 fixers in just the lands. Back to pick 5. I do see a Leering Onlooker here, which is a fine early card, which works well. I kind of think the Detective Satchel is another good one here that works particularly well with things like the Niv Mizzet in the sideboard. It's your blue-red card that we can trigger, as well as ends up making Thopters that work particularly well. So I like this Leering Onlooker pick. I probably would have taken the Detective Satchel if we're in on Niv Mizzet. Pack 2, pick 6. I see a hard-hitting questions, a bite down, another Murder, and of course things like Person of Interest and Sample Collector are great pickups this late as well. We take the hard-hitting questions, I think mainly just because it's cheap. Moving on to Pack 2, pick 7. Sample Collector kind of sticks us in green. We want to continue to be base green because we get to play our Buried in the Garden and They Went This Way. We want the most amount of basics in our deck to be forests, so that way we can make sure we play these cards and then end up getting into all of our other fun things later. So great early pick, great sort of stabilizing pick. Love this one. Pack 2, pick 8, and this is where I want to be picking Murder. Pick 8s on Murders seem great. Pick 2s, not so great. Pick 8s, great for Murder. Give me a Murder. Pack 2, pick 9. Crocodile is fine. I don't really love this card in general, but being able to play with Niv Mizzet, being able to morph it on 3 is good. So perfectly fine card. I could also see a Pompous Gadabout here if we want to be a little bit more aggressive, but seeing that we've got Makeshift Binding, Murder, Buried in the Garden, and Deadly Cover-Up, having something that just sort of lands a little bit later on the battlefield is fine. We're going to be removing a lot of their stuff early. Gadget Technician is a great wheel. It's our blue-red card for Niv Mizzet. It flips up for either blue or red, which is good. Also ends up giving some jump blockers. Vengeful Creeper is a great sideboard card. It doesn't add up. It's fine. It's a way to get your Niv Mizzet back, right? I don't know if we're going to play it in this deck, but it's a reasonable card and something I would probably consider. And Chalk Outline, lots of fun, not the deck for us. Moving pack 3, pick 1. We see a second Deadly Cover-Up, which at this point I have no doubt that this is going 3-0. The amount of removal and board wipes are here, and we can play them, and we can really clean up with whatever we want, whether that's a Crocodile, an Aurelia, a Niv Mizzet, whatever we want we can do because we have these 2 cover-ups. Nobody ever expects the second Wrath, so you Wrath them once, they deploy to the board, you Wrath them again, and you likely win that game. Pack 3, pick 2. Not impressed with a lot of the card quality in this pack. It doesn't really have a lot. You've got Inside Source, which is very reasonable, but our white is sort of really becoming a splash now. You've got a second Crocodile for a Slice from Shadows, and those are fine too. But picking up an Escape Tunnel, I think, is perfect. We want to continue on with the fixing. We want to make sure that we're drawing our green cards so that way we can fix for the rest of things. And Escape Tunnel does exactly that. Pack 3, pick 3. I see the Granite Witness, and I like that pick. It flips up and does particularly well for the blue-white for Niv Mizzet, but I also think Curious Cadaver could have been something we would look at. We don't have too many clues as of right now. We've got like a They Went This Way, but had we gone all the way back to, I think, somewhere mid-pack 2, there was a Satchel that we could have picked up. Had we picked that one up, I really like this Curious Cadaver as a way to have brought back from the graveyard and having a blue-black card on the battlefield. As it sits, Granite Witness, perfectly fine. Pack 3, pick 4, and we get a bomb like this. Izoni, Center of the Web, a great card to be ramping into. Already in our colors, works perfectly with Niv Mizzet. This is a gift. I don't think I've ever seen something so crazy. This is a pack 1, pick 1, pickable card. This is a draft around. This card is busted. Pack 3, pick 5. This is the first big mistake, I think. This is the first one I will call out. This pick is a mistake. We take an Escape Tunnel because we're kind of scared that our fixing isn't there, and I'm telling you, your fixing is perfectly fine enough to take this busted card in Sharp-Eyed Rookie. Busted. Sharp-Eyed Rookie comes down early. It ends up getting picked up by Crawl Whipcracker, Sample Collector, and then even later as we end up playing more of our bigger cards, it does great. I want this Sharp-Eyed Rookie in every deck that plays green, and you are guaranteed playing green if you're going to be playing 5 colors. So, although Escape Tunnel is a fine pickup here, and maybe if this was the next pick and the Sharp-Eyed Rookie isn't here, I could see it. I kind of also like a Quintorius. Don't hate that either, but you should be playing Sharp-Eyed Rookie in this deck. Pack 3, pick 6, another gift. Nobody's in black-green. Goku Go Home has found the lane. Assassin's Trophy, great card. It does end up helping your opponent fix. It helps them do a little bit here and there, but a small price to pay when you need to kill something huge on their side. Great pickup. Pack 3, pick 7. Gadget Technician is fine. I don't actually mind an Extract the Confession here. We don't have a whole lot that deals with disguise creatures early. Our Buried in the Garden, 2 Murders, and Makeshift Binding all don't really deal with a disguise on 3. So an Extract the Confession would be fine, I think, as a way to go that route. But Gadget Technician, our blue-red card, helps with Niv Mizzet, gives us 2 blockers, looks good. Second Crocodile. At this point, we're kind of just picking things up. Not thrilled with it, but probably not playing, but doesn't really matter at this point. Pack 3, pick 9. Rakish Scoundrel, probably not playing. Third Crocodile, probably not playing. Third Harry Jones-Smith, and another Rakish Scoundrel. So the end of the packs definitely sort of dried up here, but as we take a look at the deck, we see that Goku Go Home had this super sick Niv Mizzet build. Overall, fixing looks great. They Went This Way, Buried in the Garden, 3 Escape Tunnels. We've got great top end to be going with here, and it looks like just enough removal, and of course the 2 Wraths to make this a really, really powerful deck. Love what I'm seeing. Send in another. If you'd like your deck reviewed here on Run It Back, feel free to send me a message on Discord or an email over at runitbackmtg@gmail.com. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you next time.